are talking Shark Attack 2 from the year 2000, directed by David Worth, who also directed the third Shark Attack movie. Now, the original Shark Attack movie that starred Casper Van Dien was kind of more or less a low-budget version of the plot of Deep Blue Sea, you know, genetically mutated sharks. This one is actually a direct follow-on from that movie, and we have the offspring of the sharks of the original Shark Attack. However, this time it kind of takes elements from Deep Blue Sea, but it's mainly a kind of a mix between the original Jaws and Jaws 3. Now, this one, it's located in Cape Town in South Africa, and we have a kind of sea life centre that wants to kind of capture this great white shark that has been in the area and has already killed one woman and her sister's kind of out for revenge against this shark. And it's up to this kind of a marine biologist who initially captured the shark, but when it kills someone else in captivity and escapes, he then decides to track down this shark and obviously kill it. But he has competition. The mayor wants to kind of keep the beaches open, and the owner of this aquarium wants to kind of get the shark for himself, so to speak, and he's hired this kind of Crocodile Dundee, Steve Irwin type to kind of catch it. What will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out. So the original Shark Attack movie, to be honest with you, I was not a big fan of. I've not reviewed it on the channel as of yet, maybe one day. And the third one is kind of really its own separate entity, although it is still directed by David Worth. So this one is, I think, the best out of the three movies, but it is a silly, cheesy B-movie shark film under, you know, whatever way you slice it. So, but let's say, what can I say that works about this movie? The special effects, let's talk there first of all, are a real mixed bag, but I do think there are some instances, I mean, for the, you know, with the kind of the air quotes that this is a low-budget movie, I think there are a couple of instances where the special effects don't look too bad. And this is more or less kind of the close-up shots of where you're seeing kind of maybe the shark kind of bite down and kind of directly attack people, where we only see kind of like, you know, partial of the shots. The model that you use, I think, you know, doesn't look too bad in kind of those shots. I actually think some of the characters here are actually quite likeable. We have this, as I say, this kind of Australian Steve Irwin type. He's quite fun, quite a fun character, and our main protagonist hero, again doing the kind of the Roy Scheider thing. There's even that famous shot where they kind of zoom in on the beach. Again, he's sort of quite likeable. I quite liked him, and it's kind of a fun, campy film. It's pretty, you know, it's not an overlong film. It's pretty action-packed, to be honest with you, and there's relatively high body count for a kind of a shark film as well. But it has this just element of playful funness to it, not taking itself too seriously, and is kind of enjoyable in a schlocky B-movie way. Now, I am in no way saying that this is a quality-made film, because it is not. What I'm saying is that it's kind of fun if you can enjoy it, knowing that it is a B-movie. I actually think this is, I say, a better film than the first and the third movie. I haven't seen the first one in a long time, but I always remember that being not having a lot of sharks in it. And the third one looks just incredibly cheap compared to this. So this one, I think, is the best out of the trilogy. I haven't seen the first and third one in a long time, and I've obviously only re-watched this kind of second one quite recently to review it. But I do remember thinking when I first saw them, this was the case, that the second one was by no means a great movie, but the best out of the three of these films. But let's be realistic. Let's talk about what doesn't work. So the movie is shot in South Africa and has South African cast, but a lot of the cast are dubbed to sound American, which makes the acting sound a little wonky sometimes. I don't necessarily think it's the actor's fault. It's the case of they wanted to appeal to an American audience, which is the biggest movie audience when this sort of came out. So they've kind of made the actors, sound more American, although it doesn't pretend to be in America. So I find it an odd choice. You know, it takes place in Cape Town, but, you know, everyone has American or Australian accents in the case of the Hunter guy. As I've mentioned, the special effects are a mixed bag. I've spoken about how the things that I like, but there are sequences where it really doesn't work. So we actually see a couple of instances where we have longer shots of the shark, and it literally looks like a plastic shark, not moving and just kind of being glided along the water. So sometimes where the camera pulls out and we do see the sort of, you know, more of a kind of a wide angle shot of the shark of its whole body, they don't look great. There's also a little bit of kind of CGI sharks towards the end, and again, they don't look great. The movie uses a hell of a lot of stock footage. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with that in itself, but the sharks are clearly different sharks. Whenever you kind of see that it changes shape, size, the fin's different. It's like, people won't notice, people won't notice. So there's no real consistency in regards to that. I understand that, you know, even Jaws used a little bit of stock footage, but you know, it's kind of noticeable that it's clearly not the same shark. And they use a hell of a lot of stock footage. There's also some silly things like the shark growls. It swims backwards at one point. You know, it's just some silly kind of like choices like that. The kind of the bad guy, the human bad guy, never really gets any kind of comeuppance in it. Not that you'd expect him to die necessarily, but he seems to get more or less kind of scot-free. There's some really funny, amusing scenes where towards the beginning of the movie, where they first capture this shark and have it in captivity. And we're meant to be looking through this kind of window, and it's just a superimposed, like, you know, pictures of a shark swimming in the ocean and stuff. It looks really terrible. So some of the acting, as I say, doesn't come across off particularly well, although I don't 100% blame the actors, as I say, because of the overdubbing there. It is a rip-off in regards to its story. It's just taking elements from, as I say, Deep Blue Sea, Jaws 1 and 3. So yeah, not particularly original, but like I've said, this is a quite fun, enjoyable, schlocky B-movie shark film. It is not a good film. It's not even an average film. It is a below average film, but there's still some enjoyment to be had here. So I'm gonna give Shark Attack 2 a 4 out of 10. Certainly the best at the series, as far as I remember. Admittedly, I haven't seen the other two for a while. Have you seen any of these Shark Attack movies? Which one do you think is the best? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.